Hey, good morning, everyone, and happy Sunday to you. Welcome to Sunday Reflection. It is Peter here from Strong Healthy Women, and I am joined this morning by the lovely Fiona Keary from Style Liberations. G'day, Fiona. How are you going today?
I'm well. How are you, Peter?
I'm really, really good. We have had an awesome week this week talking about confidence within you. And it wasn't about, shape or size or just really embracing who you are. And it's a little bit strange that someone who works in the fitness industry and someone who works in the
Fashion industry.
styling industry, yeah, fashion industry, that we're all about just embracing who you are. We certainly believe that everybody needs to be healthy and fit and active and all of those types of things. But it really is time for all of us to step into embracing who we are, the assets that we have, and how we can really highlight those assets. Don't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Because I think we've all got more important things also to worry about. And when we get
Mm,
focused on those things that, we just it's a waste of time. And I think, feeling really great is very important because then you don't
mm.
focus on those little things. You focus outwards, I believe. So, yeah.
Yeah. And something as simple as knowing what colors highlight your sparkly eyes or, just make you feel great and confident can have a massive impact on how you walk into that day and how you feel about yourself as well. So that was day two. We talked about color. So, do you want to do a little bit of a recap on the psychology of color, maybe, so that we can
Yeah.
understand exactly what happens? Yeah.
Yeah, so look, it is really around, and I know I mentioned it on Wednesday, around that enclothed cognition. So, and that really, I guess, encompasses not only colour, but also style, personality, and shape as well. So, the
Mm,
idea of enclothed cognition is that, in image consulting and styling, a lot of what we've talked on over the years is the image that we want to project to other people, right? And
mm,
so then you get a lot of pushback from people saying, well, hold on a minute, I'm not so concerned about the other people. And that's fair enough as well. So what they've actually realized is it's not just about other people, it's what that enclosed cognition is around how what you wear and how that makes you feel, but not only how you feel, but how
hmm.
you perform as well.
Right.
So
Okay.
we all
That's
have those
interesting. Yep.
days where we're not feeling the greatest. And so
Hmm.
what we find is you'll gravitate towards those pieces that I guess compound that even further. Like we tend to go for sort of
Mm,
deeper colours or things that are, quite comfy or our safe stuff. And one of those things around enclosed cognition is that you can change things up by wearing things that are a little bit brighter, by, wearing something that gives you an association with a different sort of place or mood or context in terms of, if you think about it, you want to embody that sort of carefree holiday vibe, then putting on something that gives you a little bit of a holiday vibe automatically puts a little bit of a skip in your step. So it's that idea that doing
oh,
something a little bit different can actually change your mood and also your performance. So I guess I think I talked about it last time in terms of Adams and Galinsky did the Stroop test. And I don't know if anyone knows, I didn't know what the Stroop test was. It's when you flash up words. So it'll be the colour, say blue or red, but blue will be red and red will be in blue. And you've got to actually say the colour rather than the word, or vice versa. So it's to measure mental agility. So they did that test where they had half the students, they did all the students in their casual clothes, okay, and they did the Stroop test.
right.
Then they that group away and put half in lab coats and the other half just stayed in their normal clothes. And they actually saw a percentage change of 5 to 15% change in the test results of the people who were wearing the lab coats. Now, the people wearing the lab coats are no smarter than the people in the casual clothes. However, because they had that enclothed cognition, that idea that, okay, well, I'm in a lab coat now, so I need to perform in a certain way. I'm going to pay more attention. Something like that, something clicks. And all of a sudden, it changes, not only, it changes their behaviour. And this is the thing as well, you know, getting in here first thing in the morning, doesn't that set you up? Go, I need to be active today.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So automatically, doing those automatic things can change habits as well for you. So it's that, you know, there's lots of power in your habits and what you do and what you put on and the colour that you put on as well.
That's fascinating. So if you put your gym clothes on first thing in the morning, and I often say this, you know, have it there at the bottom of your bed, or, you know, where you're going to put your feet, because you're just going to fall over it. And when you put it on, even though you might not feel like it, you'll sort of like go, well, why am I walking around in my gym clothes? I might as well do something.
Exactly.
And so it does spur you on. And I was thinking about it, you know, when the grandkids pick up your glasses and they put your glasses on, you go, oh, you look very smart now, because we associate, you know, wearing glasses with the teacher and being smart. Wow, that's really, really fascinating, isn't it?
And I love that we, you know, there's actually, yeah, and I love that we've done that research now, that it is about how it can give us more confidence and power in terms of, you know, if you also think that we have uniforms for people and we have uniforms for people in authority and things like that, and it's like that power dressing, but we can power dress for ourselves. And when I say power, it doesn't mean that it's, you know, stern and authoritative. It's our own sense of confidence and power and our own, I guess, armour for how we attack a day. And again, that's probably not the right terms for everybody, because we all have different ways that we like to interact. But it's what's going to make you feel more confident, more like you, so that, you know, you can tackle anything that comes your way.
Totally. That's brilliant. Ladies, we've got one thumbs up there going on. There's a few. Let us know who you are. Give us some comments. What do you think about that? Does that relate to, you know, does it totally relate? I mean, there's, you know, my mind's going 100 miles an hour in regards to colour. That is fascinating. So what about, we talked also about personality, and look, I love doing the personality quiz that you have, because what it did was it really helped me embrace the person that I am. So when I approach, you know, many things, like I was building our website for Strong Healthy Women, and so when they started throwing back things that just weren't me, it was like, no, look, let me tell you what my personality is about. And so he built my website around my personality, and it was like, yeah, this feels comfortable, this is right.
And it is like, it's not necessarily, like you pointed out, what you wear, but it'll go throughout everything that you do. But if you're doing it in everything else that you do, and you're not representing it in yourself in terms of how you dress or you accessorize, or because it even comes down to what you prefer in terms of hairstyles and, you know, makeup, whether you like makeup or not. If you're relaxed natural, often you don't want to even wear makeup, and you don't need to apologize for that. That's you. And wouldn't it be boring if we're all the same? That's the whole sort of thing, like, you know. And this is what I love about style personality, and I know I had a discussion about this with another client, is she loved what she wore because she really embraced that feminine elegant, and she gained this new appreciation for other people's styles, whereas before she couldn't necessarily understand why people dressed in particular ways. And then she was like, well, that's their style personality. That's how they show up and represent themselves. And then it also gives you the ability to embrace other people and other styles as well. And, you know, because we often go shopping with friends and family, and you might look at things and
Mm.
go, I would never do that. And why do they make pieces like that? And why do they do that? But it's like, because it works so perfectly for someone else, and for someone else, they just embrace it so well. And when you can appreciate that, I mean, I know that's why I love what I do, because I get to play with all style personalities. So, while I may not wear what my clients will wear, I love it because I can see that it works perfectly for them and really represents who they are. And I just think that's just
Mm.
wonderful.
Look, I know when mum stopped driving and then I needed to start, you know, taking her around, getting her groceries, all those types of things. She would often say to me as we're walking past a shop, "Isn't that beautiful?" And I go, "Oh, that's lovely, but it's not for me." And so now I don't even have to say it's not for me. She automatically goes, "This is lovely, isn't it?" And I go, "Yes." And she goes, "And I know it's not for you." So she's actually, by spending this regular time with her on a Thursday, she's actually started to learn more about, the things that I love. And I've started to learn more about the things that she loves. And we're embracing one another's personality, for who we are, which is a wonderful thing to do. So it's not just about building that confidence in who we are, but it's also allowing that person to feel confident as well, isn't it?
It is, and it's also building a beautiful connection, because when we
Oh, totally.
understand other people, we can connect more with other people. And I think that's one of the great things, especially, I do a lot of group sessions and things like that, or I'll do sessions with, friends and family. And you can see that connection even growing because they're looking at each other going, oh, I get it now. I understand why you like those things, or you tackle problems in that way, or that's why you have to do things in a certain way. Because like you said before, it's not just about the clothes. Like if you are a rebellious style personality, for example, it's
Mm.
also how you attack a problem, or how you like to structure your day or not structure it, or how you like to engage in friendships and things like that. It gives you people cues and clues, or an insight into how you operate, which I think is great. So, and once you understand that yourself, it's much easier to communicate that to other people so that they go, oh, okay, that makes sense. I get it. I get it now. So,
Yeah, totally. And I love this so much because we are, like, the human body itself is very, very complex. But when you get to the mind and understanding why we do things and why we react in certain ways, oh my goodness, it is just even more complex than just understanding how the body functions. So, and it means that we can embrace one another for being uniquely who we are. But first and foremost, we always have to love ourselves. I heard that saying, what was it, that in order for other people to love us, we first have to love ourselves?
yeah,
And I love that.
absolutely.
Yeah, totally love that. And the other thing we talked about is that we're all shapes and sizes. And I love
Yep.
that we are all shapes and sizes. And there were ways to embrace that shape and that size that we are. So do you want to speak a little bit to that as well?
Absolutely. So, look, yes, we've got a guide in terms of the common body shapes for women, but it's not as straightforward as that either, because you've got your
Mhm.
horizontal proportions, you've got your vertical proportions, you've got your face shape, you've got your scale, and all of those different elements contribute to, the lists of do's and the lists of maybe avoid wearing that type of thing. So that's really, really detailed. What we like to talk about is creating proportion with the body that you have. So, yes, it is important to understand your body shape, what proportions you already are. But what's more important is to understand the shapes you want to create with the body you have and the clothes that you put on it. And, we're often looking to aim to create one of three shapes when we get dressed. And the first one might be the hourglass shape. So if you think about,
Mm.
it's making the top and the bottom half of your body appear the same size, but what you want to do is create the illusion of a waist. Now, we're not talking about like cinching in or creating that sort of 50s prom look in, you know, like a review style dress. But that is one way of creating an hourglass. An hourglass could be simple shaping in terms of, you know, doing a side tuck with a t-shirt into a pair of jeans or pants. That creates an illusion of a waist. You know, it's just giving that illusion that you're showing off your waist a little bit. Okay, so that's one shape, and that's a shape that we've always been looking to create as females. Right. In the beginning of time, we've been showing off that sort of shape. Another shape that we look to create, which I think really came into the fore in the 80s with the shoulder pads and big puff sleeves and the permed hair, is the inverted triangle shape. And that's where, and this is a shape that men have traditionally always created, is where we broaden the shoulder line, those broad shoulders, and then moved into slimming down or streamlining the sort of hip and legs. So if you think about the look of, say, a beautiful draping cardigan with skinny jeans, that's a perfect example of that inverted triangle shape. Or if you want to go back to the 80s sort of reference, it's doing the shoulder pads in those power jackets with the sort of skinny or straight leg pants, or skinny pencil skirt, for example. That's the idea of that inverted triangle shape. I love that shape, and I love creating that shape because the perception with it is that it's athletic, it's assertive, it's that sort of shape. So I really quite like that shape. And again, different style personalities will be attracted to that shape. So your rebellious, your dramatic, your naturals, your creatives tend to be attracted to that shape. Whereas your feminines, your elegance, and your some creatives and your sultries will be attracted to that hourglass shape. So again, this is why style personality is so important, because it will match across to what shape you want to create with your body as well, and what silhouettes you want to create.
And so Fiona, yeah, sorry, no, go on. Yeah, no, finish that off. I'll come back to it.
Okay, so with the rectangle shape is the third shape you might want to create. And that shape, if you think about the 20s, if we're thinking about modern fashion, if you think about the 20s, that's when we saw the flapper dresses, so very straight up and down. And then obviously again back into the 60s, we saw that very straight look, and we've got that straight look has really been coming through since the 90s as well. So it's more of that straight silhouette. And that's where, you know, you use either boxy and soft fabrics, so fabrics that if you dropped on the ground, they sort of pull rather than crumple, or you can go for those very sort of stiff 60s shift dressed looks as well. And people who tend to go for those will probably be a little bit more relaxed natural, again, your dramatics and creatives, and some rebellious as well. So again, it's mapping that across what style personality you are. You'll have a preference for the shapes that you want to create too.
I love a little bit of, you know, the Twiggy look.
Yeah.
From the 60s. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. I love a good, you know, mini shift dress with a pair of boots, you know. So, yeah, totally. And so these three areas, so personality, color, and the shape that we are, is there one that's more important than the other?
Look, I would say it's our personality. And the reason being is because if you don't get the color quite right, you can cheat. So you can cheat by layering the right piece. You can cheat by wearing it further away from your face, and you can cheat by adjusting your makeup. Okay, because we know sometimes colours can make you look a little bit washed out or something like that. So you might just apply a little bit more blush or something like that. So you can always cheat with colour. With shape, again, you can wear something in a slightly different way. You can have it altered or something like that to make the shape work. There's always tricks you can do. But if the style personality of a piece isn't right and you can't make it fit you, then you're never going to wear it. You're never going to feel right in it. The other two things you can cheat, style personality, I don't think you can cheat really with it. Just, it's never going to feel quite right. Unless you cut those ruffles off if you're not a feminine.
Yeah. Look, I mean, In my industry, there are three areas as well. It's move, eat, live. And I really think that it always comes down to the live. So, what's in your mind? What are you choosing? Because when you make those choices for yourself, and you know why you're doing it, then you'll do the moving and you'll do the eating. So getting that stuff right is really, really important. So, I mean, doing them all together gives you everything. And so the same thing would apply when it comes to, just rocking it out in your best clothes. I would imagine do three, you're going to just feel like superwoman and amazing. Whereas you can always just start by doing the one thing and then mastering that one thing and then going, okay, I'm now going to add the next step and the next step and the next step.
Absolutely. You've said that beautifully, Peter, and that is how it works. Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. And so if anyone was thinking about how to go about starting feeling that little bit better in their clothes, what piece of advice would you give them?
Starting with style personality, and if it's okay, Peter, I'd say doing our style personality quiz would be a really good start. Just gives you a little bit of
Right.
insight into your preferences and what you like. And so, if you're happy for me to share the link for that, we share our dominant style personality. But it tells, thinking about style personality is thinking about the elements of a piece. So, looking at it are there particular colours that you're attracted to? And that will guide you as to what sort of styles you'll prefer. Are there particular elements on a piece? Do you prefer things that have got a little bit of ruffle or softer in texture or a little bit more structured or tailored? Accessories, what sort of accessories do you like? Or do you not like you find it tricky to accessorize and you want things to be functional instead? All of those things will help you because at the moment we're so overwhelmed with choice. I don't think we've ever been in a time where we've had so much choice. And so what happens with all of that overwhelm is we get a little bit confused. We do know what we like, but because we've got all of these choices coming at us, we can sometimes get a bit distracted, and that's how we end up with things in our wardrobe that aren't right for us. So for me, I know when I went through this style transformation, being able to put the blinkers on and be able to go, okay, so these are the things that I really like and I'm really attracted to because I know I feel great in them. It means that the rest of it's just noise and I can just ignore it. So when you know what your style personality is, you can really hone in on what's going to make you feel really good and you can ignore all the other bits and pieces. So by doing the quiz, you can actually then start looking at pieces in your wardrobe and understand why you love some pieces and why some other pieces are perhaps not quite right for you and why you never wear them. And then you can gift them on to somebody else who's actually going to love them, who's the right style personality for them. That's the piece of advice.
Yeah.
That's where I would start. Look at what your style personality is, your dominant one, and know that you'll be a couple of others as well. And then start going through your wardrobe piece by piece and going, which one? It's almost like Marie Kondo. What brings me joy? Which ones make me feel really good? Keep those. Maybe write down a couple of words about what it is that you like about it. Is it the cut? Is it the style? Is it the color? Is it that it's playful or feminine or structured? And then for those pieces that you're really not loving, let them go. And it's okay to let them go because someone else will love those pieces. We're seeing more and more people gift things or sell them on fashion marketplaces. People will and do love embracing secondhand. People are not worried about doing that now. We'd rather see it go to somebody else than go to land.
Yeah, totally. I'm just thinking about the many colors of leather jackets that I have in my cupboard.
Yeah, but you wear most of them, don't you?
Oh, I do. Oh, yeah, I
Perfect.
do. And yeah, so I will totally embrace a leather jacket. I love them. And that's because of my style personality. I prefer those. But if I'm in, so I do know my other personalities as well. And so I'm sounding like I'm, you know, a little bit interesting here, having different personalities.
You're allowed to have multiples, it's okay.
But if I'm feeling like that, that other, you know, relaxed creative, I will, you know, embrace a little cardi that's, well, not so much a cardi, maybe a little pullover that's got, you know, funny little things on its sleeves or something, you know. So, yeah. And knowing that personality and knowing the mood you get out of bed, it really does help you go, oh, this is what I'm feeling like today. And I've always said about myself, I'm a bit of a mood dresser. So going away somewhere was always a huge issue for me, because it was like, well, I don't know what I'm going to be feeling like on that day. So I just don't know what I'm going to be wearing. And so then taking it to that next level and then understanding that when you have all the pieces that work hard for you, you can just have those certain things and you just throw them in and you know how to pull them together in different ways. And I remember going away some years ago when I was in the corporate world, and I actually had my change of clothes in my briefcase that I had taken. So I didn't have anything else. I had a little tiny makeup kit and the clothes in there. So it was just this one little bag, and I think I'd gone for 3 days. So I had learned over the years, you know, how to embrace and condense things down. So, which is brilliant.
See,
Which is
I
brilliant.
can't even imagine you suited and booted now. I can't even imagine you in a blazer, because that's just not what I
I
see from
know.
your personality at all. Like, oh,
No, I know. But even in wearing those suits, I would have, so it might be a pencil skirt, but at the back of it, it had this really interesting little tail on it. So it would come down lower. And it might be, one of my favorites was, so it was all ruffled and it had studs where the ruffles started.
that's cool.
And then the jackets were studded as well. And the wonderful thing is that my hairdresser, her younger sister, um, became a solicitor recently and didn't have any suits. And I said, oh, here you go, because she was about the same size as me. And I bundled them all up and I gave them. And she's gone, I've never even heard of these brands before, but absolutely, she said, I love them. So she must have had that similar personality to what I had as well too, which was even better still. So she got to totally embrace that quirkiness, so which was wonderful.
I love that. And that's the thing, see, people will totally embrace and love pieces that you have in your wardrobe if you let them go. Because they're not serving you, let them serve somebody else.
Oh, no. No, I know. There's still a few left sitting there, and I know that I need to give them away. And I keep going, does anybody want these? But I haven't had any hands up yet, so I'll keep putting them out there. Someone might pick them up along the way as well too, which is wonderful. So any final thoughts from you today, Fiona?
I think it's about playing, giving yourself some space to play. We don't play in our wardrobes, so we don't actually know what we have or how many wonderful options we have in there. So maybe today, if you've got 15 minutes, maybe take out a top that you like but perhaps haven't been wearing, and see how many outfits you can create out of that top. And just play around, try different things on and have a play around with it and see how many different combinations you can come up with. And then just take photos of those combinations. And it's just maybe spending 15 minutes a week just trying something new, just so you don't feel like you're in the same thing all the time. Because sometimes we get bored, especially if you're creative. Sometimes you get bored in what you have. So, yeah, just play around. Have some fun.
And my final tip on that is put your favourite music on while you're doing it and make it a bit of a party and have a dance around with it. So get that energy moving. It will make you feel fantastic. So thanks for joining me today, Fiona. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks for joining us, ladies. I hope you got something out of today, and we will all see you very, very soon. And remember, we will put that link up, that quiz link, so that you've got access to it as well too. Thanks, Fiona. See you soon.
Thank you, Peter. Catch
See
you
you
later.
soon, ladies. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.